Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning everyone.
Morning.
My name is Restu Fitrahadi Syukri and my friends is Anggit Prasojo. We are going to present our topic today. The title is the use of Google Translate in the translation class at English Education Study Program at Pachimura University. The first material will be presented by my friend Anggit Prasojo. So for the introduction, first is the title, and we got it from the one article. But the title is the use of Google Translate in the translation class at English Education Study Program at Pachimura University. And its main purpose is to examine the usage, translation, report, and classroom perceptions. And then for the main findings in here, first we got four main findings. First, the students mainly use Google Translate for translation tasks, and Google Translate is allowed for assignment and tasks, but vice versa, it's probably hijacked for an exam or a test like us, for using for UAS or UKS. And then they usually try to translate it independently first, and then they try to cross-check it to Google Translate. And then lastly, students have different attitudes toward Google Translate in translation class. And then the next slide. And then we move to the discussion of Google Translate usage. And first is what is Google Translate? As concluded from Al-Haisani with I and Al-Haisani with Y in 2017 and Mukte in 2019, Google Translate is a versatile tool by Google. It can be used for translation text, speech, images, and video across languages. And then it's widely used in daily life, tourism, education, and work. And it is easily accessible in smartphone, computer, and then web. Next slide. And still in the discussion of Google Translate, but in here is the advantages and the disadvantages of Google Translate. For the advantages, concluded from Molida in 2017 and Wisdaya Shah in 2019, Google Translate can be served as a translation tool, dictionary, thesaurus, and spell checker. And then it saves time for students with its fast capability of translation. And then for the disadvantages of Google Translate, by Switchers now in 2020, he points out that first, it lacks of human sensibility. So yeah, because it's kind of AI, but not really AI. And then user must be carefully to choose word and structure, sentences for coherence. It's not like we can't just drop and random words in there. We should write it properly, and then it would give us the right answer. And then it kind of have a grammatical error, and it's always happen because you don't arrange the words properly. And then the next slide is how Google Translate was utilized by students in the translation class in education study program at particular university. Google Translate is a vital kind of vital something in there. They mainly use Google Translate to translate text first, translation task, and then improve vocabulary and understanding of. But you can take a note that Google Translate is probably hijacked during exam because it is to maintain the integrity and fairness. Slide. And then we move to guide. Oh, sorry. We move to the guidelines or restriction in the use of Google Translate in the classroom. And then first, usage during assignment. It can be used in assignment or class in daily life, in daily class. And then second is prohibition during exam. Yeah, same with what I said before. It's not okay to use Google Translate in exam or test, just like us in our US or UTS. And then independent translation attempts, students in there is somehow independently translate it first using their mind, and then they cross-check it using Google Translate, and then they back to cross-check it again using their mind again. And then fourth, recognition of limitations. Students must be aware of it or its limitations, just like the disadvantages before. It lacks of human sensibility and etc. And then for the last is positive perception. Foster positive attitudes towards Google Translate usefulness despite its flaws. And then for the next material is presentation of students' perception. Will be presented by the student. Alright, so from the findings of our article, we found several of students' perception. It is categorized in several categories. It is effectiveness and accuracy. The advantages of using Google Translate, disadvantages, and the overall perception of using Google Translate in professional class. So, for effectiveness and accuracy, right. So, in effectiveness and accuracy, it is we found quantitative and qualitative data. For the quantitative, the questionnaire result indicate that many students believe they could rely on accuracy of text translated by GT. And for the qualitative data, interviews reveal several views of students regarding the Google Translate accuracy. Some students find that, like participant 2, 13, and 25, they say that Google Translate is accurate. It's accurate for the task, for the assignment in translation class. But for participant 1, 3, and 12, they criticize that GT is inaccurate because it is not that accurate, and especially for entire text or idiomatic text. Like that. And for the advantages, it is for the qualitative data. It is free, easily accessed, fast translation, and vocabulary boost. For qualitative data, interview find that students use Google Translate to find new vocabulary and to save time, and providing access to various features like text, photo, and audio translation. And for the disadvantages, the quantitative data, students generally agree on the disadvantages of Google Translate. Some disagree that Google Translate need to remember the new vocabulary or guess word meaning. The mean score is 2.23. And then the last one is overall perception of Google Translate usefulness in translation class. Both questionnaire and interview indicate that despite recognizing the limitation, all students found that Google Translate is useful for the translation class, and they appreciate Google Translate for assisting with translating the vocabulary that they are not familiar with. So yeah, that's it. Next is the analysis of dependency on technology. So from the article, we talk about the dependency of technology, right? So, Montessori et al. 2019 state that although there are concerns about inaccurate translation, which can prevent learning from another perspective, translation tool can have positive impact on the development of students' writing skill. In contrast, Chan 2020 argue that Google Translate could be a threat to improve students' translation skills because Chen believed that Google Translate will make students become dependent on technology. The technology is we're talking about Google Translate right now. So when they are in the translation class, they have Google Translate. But the essential of translation skill is like they are translating by their own, not by using technology like Google Translate or DeepL or any other translation media. So furthermore, situation in which students choose to use Google Translate to translate complete text or sentences right away, it is highlight the dependency of the student itself, like here. For example, in the context of this study, participants 3 and 4 frequently use the GT for various translation tasks, including assignment, materials, and learning new vocabulary. Like participant 3 say, for almost all of assignment in the translation class, I always use Google Translate. From this statement, from the participant 3, we can take a note that Google Translate is actually makes students become more dependent because they are relying on the Google Translate itself. They are not, they are not boosting their translation skill by their own and by using Google Translate itself. And then participant 4 is saying, if the text is long and difficult, I will immediately translate the whole text. Like he said, like this participant say, they are too lazy to translate by their own. So if they find out a really long text, they just like, okay, just put it in the Google Translate and then I will just take it without even thinking about, without considering about the real translation of the word, of the sentences. Yes. So the conclusion is, based on the result of the data and analysis and discussion, the writer concluded that students mostly employ GT to translate assignment and learning material, especially new vocabulary. And yeah, based on the analysis, based on the finding, we can find 3 main points. First, effective Google Translate training. Teachers should teach students how to use Google Translate properly. They are not supposed to use Google Translate, just use it, to translate the whole sentences, the whole paragraph. Instead, they use Google Translate whether they are confused for some word they are not familiar with. Let's say the word is like I like books, and they don't know the meaning of like that, right? So they find they search in Google Translate. This is the role of teacher to teach the students to use the right way to use Google Translate. So they find out the meaning of like, and then they find out that like is actually suka. I like book, like that. So they found okay. So this sentence means aku suka buku, like that. So that's the proper way to use Google Translate. That teachers should teach to their students. And then next, word selection focus. Teachers should train the student to pay attention to word selection in the native language before using Google Translate, and always perform post-editing after using Google Translate. And the last one, teacher should control fluent Google Translate usage in the classroom to encourage independent translation skills. Alright, that's all from us. If you have any question, please raise your hand. If you have any question, please raise your hand.
Money.
So I want to ask about, we usually talk Arabic, right? So when you don't understand your opponent's language, it takes a long time to type it into Google Translate. So how do you guys handle it?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Denisa Divanauli. I'm from the 8th group. So my question is, can you give us another example of how a teacher managed to control students' usage of teaching itself? Thank you.
Who's next?
Okay. Hello. I would like to ask about your presentation.
Sorry, your name.
Oh yeah, my name is Natamara. I'm from Group 1. So my question is, what strategies can be implemented to help students differentiate between accurate translations in Google Translate with the misleading translations from Google Translate? Because you just already stated that some of the drawbacks from the Google Translate is that nowadays still it's about the misleading translation with the grammar in the Google Translate.
First, I will answer the question from Samuel. The question is, we usually talk directly, but when you don't understand your opponent's language and it takes a long time to type it into Google Translate, how do you handle it? For me, in my opinion, I will just ask them to can you please speak slowly? Can you please speak clearly? And then can you speak loudly first? And then if I still don't understand what is they're saying, I will just using the one feature in Google Translate. It's called Voice Translate. You can just tap it and then move your phone to their mode until it goes to their mode, and then ask them to talk it again. And then it will just record what they are saying, and then it will translate it, but it's not properly, but yeah, it's okay. Already. Thank you so much. Alright, so I will answer the question from Denisa. The question is, can you give us another example of how teacher managed to control student usage of Google Translate itself? So I have explained it before the example, right? Here I will give some another example, like when you are as a teacher in a class, you can limit, you can prevent the students to touch their phone. I mean, to use their phone. Because this is the big reason why they are using Google Translate, right? They can access the Google Translate or any other translation tools from their phones. So prevent them to use the phone in the class like that. So they have no access in using Google Translate. And then you can encourage the students to translate by their own, because you can highlight how the translation of Google Translate is not that accurate. That will be explained later by my friends. So yeah, we can limit the students use our phone, and you can tell the students the disadvantages of Google Translate. And yeah, that's another example of how you prevent the students to use more of Google Translate. This is actually related to the next question by Melva that will be explained by my friends Anggit Prasojo. I will answer the last question from Melva. The question is, what strategies can be implemented to help students differentiate between accurate translation provided by Google Translate and potentially misleading translation? And then in here, I provide you kind of five strategies. This first, so example when is Google Translate get things wrong. So students know its limitation, and it's like you tell them about, oh, this is wrong. It's not the correct answer of this. And then second, highlight understanding context, since Google Translate might miss cultural things, because Google Translate is not a human. It's not They are not, they doesn't really know about our accent or our things in words by cultural things, and that's all. And then third, tell students to double check it. Tell them to cross check. It's not double check, maybe for check or for check. Just tell them to check it. And then fourth, make students think critically about Google Translate translation and why they might be wrong. And then lastly, encourage the students and tell them about Google Translate. It's just a helper, not the main solution of your task. Is that clear enough?
Yes.
Thank you, Bapak.
Alright, so we have answered all of the questions. Thank you for your attention and we move to the closure. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.